Traditionally, companies used to carry their R&D within the company. They used to develop the products within the company. But I think that is changing, at least for some companies, because first, the notion of innovation is broader than R&D. Right? It includes business models, designs, and companies are finding ideas and solutions outside the company. So this is an incentive to collaborate with other companies. And also technology is becoming more expensive, R&D is becoming more costly, so that's another incentive for companies to collaborate. The Economic Intelligence Unit did a business survey in 2007, and it found that 68% of business who responded were more favorable to greater R&D collaboration with other companies. And of course, this has also implications for their intellectual property strategy, how they manage their intellectual property strategy. I think it calls for a more sophisticated approach to IP asset management. You find more cross-licensing between companies, right, and exchanging their intellectual property. And there's also some interesting experimentation going on. For example, you take IBM, for example, that went open source, Nike that created this platform called Green Exchange, where it put its IP assets there, encouraging other companies to do that. So that's an example of an experimentation going on in this area. We'll see how successful it is. On examples of collaboration on R&D between companies, I think one area that is very fertile in this in this regard is the area of renewable and green technologies. For example, you see the development of electric cars. If each car manufacturer would do that on his own, it would be considerable costs. So we saw, for example, in 2010, Nissan and Daimler announced a partnership to develop electric cars and batteries, because it would be costly to do the R&D of it on their own. So there are some examples of how the ecosystem of innovation has changed and has encouraged companies to collaborate in a greater manner than before. Yes, you can talk about intellectual property in the context of climate change, because intellectual property encourages innovation, right? So it encourages innovation in green technologies. So that is an important way it can contribute to the fight against climate change. And even some IP offices in the world have recognized this, and they have taken measures, particularly in the US and the UK, to accelerate the processing of patent applications on green technologies, right, to bring them closer to the market. So that's one aspect of how IP relates to climate change. But the other aspect is also intellectual property also promotes innovation, but impacts also on the diffusion of technologies, how others access the technology. And there's a big debate now in the climate change negotiations about the extent to which IP can help that, and in some cases maybe be a barrier to that, in the sense that the control of technology increases the cost, the licensing cost. But I think we're still too early to in terms of the empirical evidence we have to reach categoric conclusions, but that is in general the terms of the discussions in the climate change negotiations.